Do you know what? It's been years since we've seen a super fast Vauxhall, but welcome back, babies. They've done it. This is the Vauxhall Mokka GSe. Now, I know what you're thinking when it comes to fast Vauxhalls. Back in the day, it used to be the old VXR, but no, we're going GSe now because E stands for electric. They've done it. It's happening. Yes, and they've thrown it in the Mokka first of all because they thought this is a nice startup. They're going to join forces with their partners underneath the Stellantis brand, like the Abarth 600e, like the Alfa Junior Veloce, etc. Share similar parts and all chucked it underneath. And away we go. Should we have a look around it? Come on then.
The soothsayers among you won't be totally surprised by this car. After all, Vauxhall is now part of the huge global behemoth which is Stellantis, and we have seen a couple of other little SUVs which share their general underparts with the Mokka get the fast makeover. So it was inevitable that the beefy motor used in the Abarth 600e and the Alfa Junior Veloce would eventually find their way into a Vauxhall. Now, rather than use the VXR name, Vauxhall has decided to use the GSE badge, which has been previously seen on a plug-in hybrid Astra, although this one has the capital E on the badge to show that it's electric. In the Mokka, the GSE name is a bit more meaningful though. In fact, it will be the fastest battery electric Vauxhall ever. For now, at least.
Now, I know what you're thinking. It looks exactly the same as the current outgoing Mokka, but fear not, because there are subtle differences. You will spot some badging. There's one there. There we go. And then there's a big one down the side down here. But the biggest change is what's going on here. We now have 20-inch wheels. We now have Michelin Sport tyres. We now have special yellow 4-piston GSE brake calipers and bigger discs, 380mm, just in case you were wondering, which means this is performance stuff. This is going to brake like an absolute dream. Oh, by the way, it's got 280 horsepower and will do 0 to 62 in 5.9 seconds. That'll do. Right, the interior of the Mokka is basically very similar to the outgoing Mokka, however, with little racing nods. So we've now got racing seats with Alcantara. There's like a colour palette going on in here. We've got grey, black, white and yellow. Now the yellow is in the badge there, in the E, and on the stitching down the seats as well. The Alcantara also carries on through the doors. You've got a bit of carbon stuff going on the doors and all along the top here as well, and a little bit on the centre console. It just feels a little bit more sporty than the outgoing Mokka. You've also got integrated headrests in your seats, which will mean that if you do have people sat in the back, they won't be able to see much going on in front of you and they might get travel sick. So, bit of a heads up, if you've got travel sick mates, don't put them in the back because you'll have a clean-up sesh afterwards. Numbers. Here's your drive modes, right? You've got sport mode, normal and eco. Sport mode, that's your 280 horsepower, 345 newton meters of torque. That's when you're having a jolly old time. If you've got it in normal mode, that's 228 horsepower. That's got a top speed of 112 miles an hour, basically. You put it in eco mode and you've got a top horsepower rate of 188 and a top speed of 93 miles an hour. But stay with me, because the current normal outgoing Mokka actually has 30 horsepower less than the eco mode in this. That's very impressive. The battery is a 54 kilowatt hour battery. It's actually 51 usable, so that will give you around 209 miles of range. But let's be honest, you're going to be ragging it because you can. So maybe expect about 160, something like that. If you're going to keep it in sport mode, because I know what you're like. If you're going to keep it in sport mode, you're going to lose some range. So just bear that in mind. If you're just doing little local distances and then maybe heading down some B roads, you're going to love this car. The screens here, all exactly the same as the current outgoing Mokka, but the only difference is you've now got a performance button. So you press that there, boom. And you've got things like the torque information that will show you how much power you're using. And then you've got different gauges, and then you've got the racing button, and that will show you your G-force. Why? Because it can, because you can have your mates in here and just all look at the screen and go, wow, look how fast we're going. We're all getting free facelifts. Isn't that great? Steering wheel was also slightly different. This is now slimmer than before and also a bit flatter at the top and a bit flatter at the bottom. That's the only difference. Although, for me, I would quite like this to be Alcantara. That is a special request that I will put into Vauxhall. You might not be happy with that. This is still grippy enough because it's quite slim. But all in all, very nice interior, wireless charging, cup holders, all the normal stuff that you've kind of got used to. But it's nice. I'm liking the whole kind of green, lime green colour palette. Makes it feel racy.
By the way, did you know that we can help you find a brilliant deal on a used car? So our used car listings at electrifying.com have loads of different models with handy info like battery warranties, etc. You can see the listings by scanning this QR code on the screen. So hey, if you're watching on your smart TV or your tablet, you can carry on watching this video and then you can scroll through our listings at the same time. Love that for you.
Now, in terms of practicality, it's basically the same as the outgoing Mokka. So we all know those numbers. The boot is 310 litres, lovely, lovely, can fit a family in it, it's got space in the rear seats, fine. So I'm going to give you the numbers that you might find a little bit more interesting. Now, in terms of handling, this should handle really well because it's just under 1.6 tonnes. Now, this is 200 kilograms less than the Volvo EX30. Now, I know that the Volvo EX30 is a rear-wheel drive. This is front-wheel drive, but stay with me, because this is where it gets interesting. It has a Torsen limited slip differential on the front wheels. So it means as soon as you floor it, if you've got it in sport mode and you put it into the 280 horsepower full speed, it won't lock up one wheel and it won't put more speed on one wheel than the other. It will keep them together. So you're not going to burn out one tyre, which is always a good thing because the tyres are expensive. The chassis has also slightly been tweaked, so it's 10 millimetres lower than before. The rear axle has 189% more stiffness involved. It's got trick dampers as well, so in terms of driving, it should be very impressive. I have been told I won't be driving it until the end of the year, so I'll look forward to that. But also, apparently it's going to feel very different to the Abarth 600e, which is interesting, because it's basically got all the same bits underneath, but apparently it should feel different. So we'll find out later on this year. Right, here's the bit where you're going to question the price. I don't know, is the answer. We haven't been given any numbers. So we're roughly trying to guess whereabouts it's going to be. The Abarth 600e is around 40 grand. So I can expect this to be around similar numbers, maybe slightly less. Now here's where you've got to think about it. Is this a lot of power for your money? Or is it a lot of money for a Mokka? Here's where the interesting part will come in as soon as we get to drive it. So you're going to have to wait for that, and then you'll find out if you subscribe to the Electrifying YouTube channel. Nicely done, Nicola. Thank you very much. See you next time.